Hello there guys, and welcome. It's Niran here, and today, as you can see, after a bit of a wait, it is time again for Williams' Road to Recovery here on F1 2013, our career mode series with the Williams F1 team, trying to guide them back to some sort of glory. Our teammate obviously being Pastor Maldonado. He will start this race 20th on the grid. I will start 8th on the grid here at the British Grand Prix. I do believe this is round 8. As you can see, there's a 27% chance of rain, but we will be starting on the dry tyres. But now, it's time for the qualifying report. Qualifying will prove to be full of surprises, with the Force Indias and Toro Rossos working brilliantly in the heavy rain. Raikkonen and Webber only just scraped through, while Hamilton was fastest from Sebastian Vettel and a very quick Romain Grosjean, whilst Pastor Maldonado and Esteban Gutierrez were eliminated. The surprises would continue in Q2, with Sebastian Vettel unable to make the shootout, down in 11th place, joined by Perez, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg and the two Force Indias despite promisingly early pace. This all allowed Yusufu and Verne to sneak through, whilst Alonso was fastest for Ferrari. In an unpredictable shootout where the drivers moved from wets to intermediates, it would be Fernando Alonso on pole by 9 thousandths of a second from Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. Motors showed solid pace, taking 4th and 5th, while Jenson Button a respectable 6th for McLaren. So all of this means that Fernando Alonso will be on pole at Silverstone in the British Grand Prix in front of Nico Rosberg, his teammate Hamilton, followed by Raikkonen, Grosjean and Button in 4th, 5th and 6th. Webber will be 7th in front of Yusufu in the Williams, with Massa 9th and a respectable 10th for Jean-Eric Verne. So then, after an extremely wet qualifying, we will start this British Grand Prix, our home Grand Prix, 8th on the grid. Our teammate Pastor Maldonado will start all the way down in 20th, so it doesn't look as if he'll be getting any points today. Along with Esteban Gutierrez, who's only down in 21st for Sauber, but nevertheless, at the front, Fernando Alonso will be starting on pole. There we are in 8th. A great showing as well from Jean-Eric Verne to get into 10th, just behind me on the grid in terms of the position. Webber there to my left, Massa also behind me at 9th on the grid. In front of me is Button and Romain Grosjean, but the 5 lights are on here in this 13-lap race at Britain, and they are off, and we are underway here at Silverstone. A little bit of Kerr's boost there, not the greatest of getaways, but Jenson Button up in front gets a great start. Grosjean not with a brilliant one either, and Kimi Raikkonen gets passed by Grosjean, Button and Hamilton there to the left. We run wide there as we were trying to look at to the left to see whether Mark Webber was up the inside of us. He was, as it turned out. We're still in 8th, we've maintained 8th, and now we're looking up the inside of Kimi Raikkonen. We made that move stick. Up in front, Romain Grosjean's up in 4th in front of Button, then Webber, someone kicking up some dust in front. I think that was Nico Rosberg, and that's held up everyone. Now Grosjean's being swamped by Button. Webber goes round the outside of Button in the McLaren. Button goes round the outside even of Grosjean, and we go up the inside of the Frenchman, and now we find ourselves in 6th, just behind Button. It's all gone completely down the pan for Lotus. They now find themselves in 7th and 8th. Grosjean in 7th, Kimi Raikkonen in 8th. We're just behind Jenson Button. Great start for us after being down in 10th, really down at turn 1. We've now made it back up into 6th through Copse. We've gone a little bit wide there. We've not done a great job of that corner. Now Romain Grosjean is absolutely all over us. Kimi Raikkonen's going to go up the inside of him into Beckett and makes the move stick. So Kimi Raikkonen now up into 7th. Grosjean, bless him, was 4th after turn 2, and now he's down in 8th. Nevertheless, we still find ourselves in 6th. Going to use the rest of the curves here on this first lap. By the way, as I said earlier, there is a 27% chance of rain in this race, so it will rain basically for 27% of this race, is the basic terms of that, I think, anyway. So it probably will rain towards the end, but not enough really to change us onto intermediate tyres, I would have thought, at this stage. Nevertheless, in front, Jenson Button there in 5th, Webber with a great start up into 4th, having only just got through Q1. So very lucky there for him, or else he would have been starting down in like 18th or something. He's battling, I think, with Nico Rosberg in the Mercedes in front. Lewis Hamilton is not leading, sorry, it's Fernando Alonso who's leading. So from pole, Fernando Alonso still leads this one on lap 2. Now, in qualifying, we were relatively slow in the rain. So I was hoping for rain quite a lot this series, but having seen the performance of this car in the rain, it's probably not the best situation for us, as Kimi Raikkonen will now try and pressurise us down this backstretch. I don't think he'll be able to get close enough down into this left-hand turn. No, he won't. So we maintain that position relatively comfortably. But, yeah, in the rain, we did manage to get 8th, which was brilliant. And really, in Q3 was the only time we turned up. In Q1, I think we were 12th fastest. So, you know, not really that quick. It was all over the show, though. Toro Rosso's going quickly. Force India's going quickly. It was really all over the show in Q1 as we go awfully wide there through Copse there, not really obeying the track limits whatsoever. Charlie Whiting would not be best pleased. But now through the Beckett's and Maggots complex here we go. And we maintain our position in front of Kimi Raikkonen relatively cleanly and relatively easily with Romain Grosjean there behind. I think Jean-Eric Vergne will be behind them. Nico Hulkenberg somewhere around as well. But yeah, anyway, and then in Q2 we were only about 13th fastest, so we only just made it through Q2 to get into Q3 as now Kimi Raikkonen all over the back of us into this chicane. But we managed to defend our line there as Jenson Button now starting to catch Mark Webber and Nico Rosberg in front. If we can only go as quick as Button, we might be able to catch that battle as well. Anyway, we've just gone on to lap 3, which now means DRS is enabled in this dry race. It's not raining quite yet, but nothing happened on the lap, so we're going to move on to lap 4. And as you can see, in terms of tyre temperature, I've seen other series of people doing this, but the front left tyre just gets so warm compared to the rest of the tyres on this car. Nevertheless, Kimi Raikkonen using curves probably and slipstream, looking to try and get around the outside, but we defend our line relatively well and we can keep hold of that. But as you can see, in the time that it's taken to get down the straight, the tyre temperature is relatively even. Both of the front tyres are pretty much the same temperature. I think it's pretty much corners like Copse and like Beckett's and Maggots that cause the left front tyre to wear and to get hotter easier. And how wide we've gone through there, made a complete hash of Copse yet again, but we defend a bit of contact there, and Sebastian Vettel from 11th on the grid has managed to get past Kimi Raikkonen. After that contact is Raikkonen's fault, he just decided to turn into us, but now Sebastian Vettel's going to have the aid of DRS and the slipstream. He's going to just breeze past us surely at the inside. He will do, we don't defend a huge amount because, well, he'd already got at the inside, but we try and go round the outside at Stowe, and we've kept hold of the position there. Sebastian Vettel very cautious, and we maintain our 6th position in front. Nico Rosberg's lost out to both Mark Webber and Jenson Button here. So it's looking great for McLaren at the moment. Great for Jenson Button at his home Grand Prix. Looking okay for us, actually, our home Grand Prix. After that win, of course, last time out, that memorable win at Montreal at Canada. Our first win of the series, our first podium of the series, actually. Doesn't look as if we're going to get on the podium, really, unless something really drastic happens. Unless there's some sort of rain, but I doubt we'd go any faster. Well, we wouldn't go any faster, but I mean, you know, compared to everyone else. Tyre wear's starting to kick in. We're going to be pitting on lap 6 of this race, so at the end of the next lap we will be pitting. Sebastian Vettel, though, putting us under all kinds of pressure again down this back straight, goes to the outside. We briefly drop back down to 7th, but we look back up the inside out, break ourselves slightly, pick up a few marbles probably on the outside of that first part of this corner, but we maintain the position, maintain 6th. But Sebastian Vettel now onto the old pit straight is all over the back of us, absolutely all over the back of us. He's going to try and move into Copse. He's going to try and move into Copse. He's going to go around the outside and he makes it stick. What a move from Sebastian Vettel, making it up into 6th place. We should have DRS, though, enabled to try and get back past him. Kimi Raikkonen all over the back of us with Romain Grosjean and Nico Hulkenberg there as well. Through the Beckett's and Maggots complex, we're relatively quick and we might just be able to hold on to the coattails of Sebastian Vettel as we now get DRS. We've switched the letterbox open at the rear wing, but I don't think we're going to be close enough to make a move into Stowe. This isn't the lap we're going to be pitting, so we're going to have to try and keep with Sebastian Vettel. We go a bit wide there through the exit even of Stowe, and Sebastian Vettel looks as if he's made the move stick, and looks as if, well, he's been able to do what in one lap what Kimi Raikkonen couldn't do in 4, basically. And poor Kimi Raikkonen, not only has he not been able to get past me, he's now lost out to Sebastian Vettel. It's actually Sergio Perez in 9th, which means Grosjean has dropped to at least 10th. That's awful for Romain Grosjean, with Sergio Perez now bringing in some points for McLaren. But we now move on to lap 6, and it's time for our pit stop here, and we'll see whether we're going to get a good one. So it's time for the mechanics to do their thing. We follow Sebastian Vettel in relatively close. We'll see how we do in the duel of the pit stops. A Ferrari also in, I would hazard a guess, that's Fernando Alonso. A McLaren of Jenson Button also in. We were followed in there by Kimi Raikkonen, I think Nico Hulkenberg in as well. So we're going to be moving on to the orange stripe prime tyres, and we've actually gained quite a lot of time there on Sebastian Vettel just from that pit stop. I think he was held up a little bit by Kimi Raikkonen and Nico Hulkenberg coming past on exit, but we've gained a bit of time. Still got Kimi Raikkonen just behind. It looks as if we're going to feed out in about 15th place in this race here in Silverstone. So we got on some fresh boots, and we're going to have to try and make this count as we avoid crossing the white line on exit of the pit lane. We've got 6 no, 7 laps of this race left. We managed 6 laps on the option tyres relatively easily, so 7 laps on the prime should be no concern at all. We've already lost quite a decent chunk of time to Sebastian Vettel there with those few slides out of the first 2 corners. Down into this corner though at the end of the backstraight. I really need to learn the names of these corners. But nevertheless, Sebastian Vettel in front is actually getting held up probably slightly by one of the Marussias. I don't know if that will be Max Chilton in that Marussia, but that might just hold up Sebastian Vettel enough just to let him come back into the clutches of ourselves and Raikkonen and Hulkenberg behind. Whether he's been able to make that move stick through Copse, I'm not sure. They're alongside each other. I think he's just made the move stick though into Beckett's, so he hasn't been held up by quite enough that we need to be able to catch up, but by a little bit. Hopefully now Max Chilton will pit at the end of this lap. It is Max Chilton, I can confirm, in 14th place, just in front of us. Hopefully he will pit as we use the rest of the curves down the straight and let us free to try and catch Sebastian Vettel. Probably in vain, to be honest. I don't think we're going to be able to catch him. We are, however, catching Chilton hand over fist. Doesn't really matter as he peels off now into the pits after Stowe Corner, and we now head down into Club. Still not sure if this is called Club. Not gonna lie, I went over that in the Classics Championship, but I think it's called Club. But nevertheless, we go on to the pit straight now. A whole heck of a load of cars pitting now, and we will maintain our 7th place. I think Perez is actually coming out here as well. He might actually trouble Kimi Raikkonen on exit, but I think Kimi Raikkonen has just held on. He has, and so Sergio Perez will take 9th, will claim 9th, where he was before the pit stops took place, as we are now on lap 18 of a 13-lap race. That makes perfect sense. On lap 8 of this 13-lap race. But Sergio Perez coming close there to leapfrogging Kimi Raikkonen there in the pit stops. But we move on now to lap 9. Things have changed here. Firstly, Sebastian Vettel's bolted, and we were unable to hold on. Secondly, Raikkonen, Perez, Grosjean and Hulkenberg are now absolutely all over us as we club the curb on the inside of the last corner. We're on lap 10 now as Sebastian Vettel sets yet another fastest lap of the race. He has actually been doing that for the last 2 laps. Basically, Sebastian Vettel takes the fastest lap of the race every lap till the end after the pit stops, is basically it. So if Sebastian Vettel had actually had a good qualifying, he'd have probably done well. Nevertheless, we're still just about holding off Kimi Raikkonen here in this one, but he's going to have a great slingshot with DRS and the slipstream. We look behind, we're going to go to the middle of the track. There's spits of rain on the camera as well, which is not what we need. Without braked ourselves awfully there, gone wide. We just about hold on there. We picked up some marbles, unfortunately, on the tyres. We're down to 21. I don't know who we've lost in this race, unfortunately. Unfortunately for them, I don't know who it is. But nevertheless, we maintain our 7th place just in front of Kimi Raikkonen. He's not going to try and make a dare-and-do move around the outside at Copse like Sebastian Vettel did. That was an incredible move, especially for an AI drive. That was incredible. Kimi Raikkonen, though, now with Perez, Grosjean and Hulkenberg all over the back of him here in this battle for 7th place. And there's just the usual trolley train is forming behind me, basically, on these prime tyres. They're still doing well. They look as if they'll hold on till the end relatively easily, to be honest, so I don't think that will be a problem. But we're still getting that random tyre temperature thing on the front left. I suppose that is, there are quite a few high-speed right-hand corners on this track, so I suppose that could be the reason why. But it is spitting with rain. I don't think it will rain enough to cause any sort of change of tyres by the end. But it is definitely getting slightly heavier every time you sort of look at it. Vettel, yet again, with the fastest lap of the race. He's 10 seconds up the road. It's only been 3 laps since we pitted. And he's already 10 seconds up the road here. Still holding up these 4 guys behind. But we're doing a relatively good job of defending here, to be quite honest, as the rain starts to come down. Typical British weather. Gets cloudy, then rains, basically. Halfway through some sort of race. Tyre wear there, as you can see, on the right-hand side. Relatively under control, to be quite honest. We've still got a lap in hand in terms of fuel, so we'll be switching over to the rich fuel mixture towards the end. But we've gone wide yet again at that corner. Second time I've done that. First time was because I was defending. Second time just wasn't concentrating. Basically, I've gone wide onto the curb there as well on the exit, but not too bad. Nothing doing there as the rain still comes down. We've got a bit of a Malaysia situation here in this career mode. It rained in Malaysia. Didn't really do anything to the race at all, basically. Did nothing to the race. It was slightly wet towards the end, but nothing doing. We'll get the same thing here, most likely. And Grosjean there, trying to go round the outside of Kimi Raikkonen. I don't think he's made the move stick. And he might have actually lost that. Sorry, it would have been Perez, wouldn't it? Perez there. I can't really see on this preview, but I think Perez may just have lost out. But nevertheless, Kimi Raikkonen's still just about holding on to. He's probably having to do more defending than I am at this current point in time, as we're about to go into the penultimate lap of the race after we go through the club section, negotiate the chicane, and then the final corner. Haven't gone wide through here. We've negotiated the chicane very well all race, really, as well as that complex. Cops is really one that we haven't done a great job of, but Vettel setting a fastest lap for the third time in a row, 2 seconds quicker on that lap alone than us. That's quite depressing, really. I know what it's like now for actual real drivers. We go defensive into the middle of the track. They're not really going the extreme right, but just holding off that overtaking opportunity at the inside there for Kimi Raikkonen into turn 3 even. Nevertheless, I apologise if I sound ill. I've got a chest infection, so whoopity-doo-dah. But around the outside, now goes Kimi Raikkonen. Up the inside we go. There's going to be some clean racing here around here, and we just about maintain the inside line. Kimi Raikkonen sticking up the inside, though still. We go wide onto the marbles. Kimi Raikkonen just sticking his nose up the inside. A slight overlap there, but decent amount of clean racing there between myself and Kimi Raikkonen there. Going around the outside, hanging there around the outside, all the way around that first corner, and then through the second as well, just up the inside. But now through Cops, and Grosjean's going to try a Perez move. Surely he's not going to make it stick round the outside. He doesn't, and he loses out to Perez and Hülkenberg, and we've lost out to Raikkonen. Raikkonen's just gone up the inside. We were too busy looking behind. We went wide, and we're not going to have DRS either because he passed us before the DRS activation zone. So Kimi Raikkonen has DRS. If we'd have had DRS, we'd have just poled past him because we're actually gaining even though we don't have DRS. As the rain's starting to get heavier, Grosjean's lost out to Perez and Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg's gone past Perez now. It's all changed, and we're lunging up the inside of Kimi Raikkonen. We're going to try and go round the outside of Kimi Raikkonen through the chicane. What a move that was. Kimi Raikkonen goes over cautious, and now Hülkenberg has gone round the outside of it. He's just passed everyone. Nico Hülkenberg has done what everyone couldn't do in about 4 corners. Nico Hülkenberg, now the man all over us in 8th. He's passed Grosjean. He's passed Grosjean at the Beckett's Maggots section of the track. Then he's gone up the inside of Perez at Stowe. And now he's passed Raikkonen at the last corner. We're going to switch up to the rich fuel mixture. And now Hülkenberg's having a go at 4 in 4 now, as he's going to try and take 7th of us round the outside. More clean racing now. A tiny touch, possibly of contact. Maybe that was a bump. I'm not sure. On this final lap of the race, can we hold on? The rain's getting ever heavier now. That was a slight rhyme. It was unintentional. I can even see a Force India in the background. We're really holding everyone up. There's another Sauber in the mix as well. I think Gutierrez is around somewhere, despite having started 21st. As we now plunge through Cops, Hülkenberg is quick through there. I'm not going to lie. Now Raikkonen all over the back of Hülkenberg as well, into Beckett's and Maggots, and we're going to come through here relatively quickly. We're relatively strong through here. We've done a good job this time. We've got some curves to defend as Lewis Hamilton wins this race. The leader of the championship into this race leads and wins again here at Silverstone at his home Grand Prix. The virtual fans will be going crazy, but I don't care about the virtual fans. We're just trying to maintain the 7th place through Stowe, and we're going to now plunge into Club, and we'll just about, I think, hold on here unless Hülkenberg tries a kamikaze move, which he hasn't as the AI, which is unsurprising, and we're going to hold on to 7th. It could have been 6th, but Sebastian Vettel with that great move at Cops denying us of that. And after a win at Montreal, technically it's a bit disappointing. We've failed our objective as well as 6th or above, which really rubs salt in the wounds in terms of losing out to Sebastian Vettel. But it's not too bad. It is points. It's 6 points on the board in the end for us at Williams. But it is Lewis Hamilton who wins from 3rd on the grid. Mark Webber went from 7th to 2nd. Incredible scenes there from Mark Webber. Alonso ended up only getting 3rd from pole position. Nico Rosberg claims 4th despite losing out to quite a few people in the first stint. Jenson Button will get 5th. Sebastian Vettel, despite all those fastest laps of the race towards the end, gets 6th. We get 7th out of Hülkenberg, Raikkonen and Sergio Perez rounding out the points. Grosjean, from where on the grid? From 5th on the grid, doesn't even get any points. And on the other extreme, Gutierrez goes from 21st to 12th. Great bit of work from him. Sutil there down in 13th, ahead of his teammate De Resta. Maldonado claiming 15th and 20th on the grid. Daniel Ricciardo there in 16th after a great chance for Toro Rosso to get points. They haven't managed it because Jean-Eric Vergne was actually the one retiree in this race from 10th on the grid. So still no points for Toro Rosso. Disappointing there with their great chance of getting a point there. And look at Felipe Massa for Ferrari, down in 17th place. Awful result there for Felipe Massa, but nevertheless, after captain consistency's gone, Felipe Massa, there's now a three-way tie for third behind Lewis Hamilton, who leads the championship by 21 points in front of Sebastian Vettel. Three drivers tied on 88 points, being Alonso, Rosberg, and Alonso's teammate Felipe Massa after that non-scoring finish. We, however, have moved up to 6th for Williams, past Kimi Raikkonen now by 1 point after that great bit of defensive work towards the end. So that was really important in the end. Sergio Perez there in 8th in front of teammate Button in 9th there, despite that great result. And Mark Webber rounding out the top 10 in front of the two Saubers. In the Constructors' Championship, it's Mercedes who lead by 41 points in front of Ferrari. Third are Red Bull after Mark Webber's not really been pulling up his weight, to be honest. Fourth is McLaren in front of Lotus. We're only 7 points now. I think I can see on the preview behind Lotus, which is incredible, to be honest, as we're now pulling away from Sauber. Had a Force India there on only 1 point in 8th in the Constructors' Championship. Toro Rosso, Caterham and Marussia still yet to pick up a point. Nevertheless, I hope you have enjoyed this Williams Road to Recovery episode. Our home Grand Prix in Silverstone, a 7th place after getting 8th on the grid in a wet qualifying session in a dry but changeable condition race. My guys are a bit disappointed, I'm not personally, but nevertheless, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, comment about enjoying it if you enjoyed it that much, and it's always good to help out the channel and support it grow, so I'd really appreciate those things as well. But the best thing, the most important thing is that I hope you have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.